What is going on, ODSTs? I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to my Art of War series, and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 8 of the Art of War. It's called Variation in Tactics, and this is going to tell you when and how you should be changing your tactics, because we know that there's no master plan that you can just follow and be able to win automatically. You have to be able to know how to change your plans. So in this chapter, it kind of covers why that is important. So, we start off, he says, there are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. So basically saying that there are a bunch of really good things. So you may think that holding a certain position will be good, but if there's some situations where it's just bad. Let's say in flag, for example, you know that going for the flag is usually good. But if you have a certain score limit and you really just want to wait out the clock, then you should focus on defense rather than offense. That's a very key strategy. And you have to, and so there's different things that can change when you need to change your plan. Even though this good thing is what you would normally do, there may be some times where you have to change from doing that. He says, a general who thoroughly understands the advantage that accompanies variation in tactics knows how to handle his troops. So he says that basically there's good leaders that know how to change their plans based on the situation. He says the general that does not understand these may be well acquainted with the configuration of his country, but will not be able to turn his knowledge into practical account. So it says, even though you don't know, if you don't know how to change your plan, even though you do know the map, even though you do have the skill, even though you have all this stuff, if you don't know that you need to change your plans, then your strategy will never be on par because you're just following a bad strategy. I have a cousin who he's in the 2nd grade. I've been teaching him chess, but he came up to me saying that he has the ultimate defense that no one can beat. And I played against him, and he used his defense, and he lost. And that's because he decided to set up in a certain way, and I decided to set up in a way that made his setup bad, that made it disadvantageous. But he just kept doing it because he didn't know that his strategy wasn't foolproof the way I was doing. He didn't know that he needed to change his plan and vary his tactics. So basically, the whole point of this intro is to say that we have to know to vary our tactics, because there's some situations where it's just not an advantage to do them. He goes on to say, the art of war teaches us to not rely on the likelihood of our enemy not coming, but rather on our readiness to receive him. Not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we made our position unassailable. So basically saying that your strategy always accounts for you anticipating the opponent's moves. In chess, whenever you set up a strategy, you anticipate that the opponent is going to react to you in this certain way, and then you set up a second piece or a second part of your plan in order to account for that. But if he doesn't do what you're expecting, then all of a sudden your strategy isn't working. So he says that you don't want to account on how likely it is that he'll actually do what you're expecting, but rather make sure you have a contingency plan in case he doesn't do what you're expecting, because you can't account for it all the time. He says, there are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. Recklessness, which leads to destruction. Recklessness is you just going in gung-ho, like someone going after the flag and not taking into account that they are rushing alone and have no map positioning. That leads to destruction. Cowardice, which leads to capture. And cowardice can be you being afraid to go after something. So let's say you're afraid to go after flag caps because you're doing such a good job slaying and farming kills. Well, and you're afraid of dying. Well, then you're never going to get a flag cap. You're just going to lose because it's impossible to go on because you're afraid of taking a risk. He says hasty temper, which can be provoked by insult. So you get mad and you start changing how you're playing to a bad way in order to get back at that person. Like if someone teabags you, you definitely want to get back at that person and teabag them too. And that gets you mad and changes your strategy because it's not the best way to do it. And they're just trying to provoke you. Delicacy of honor, which is sensitive to shame. This is much like the hasty temper, in that you're delicate to people insulting your standing. Like, I'm a very good sniper, and when other people kind of beat me at sniping, I don't get happy with it, you know? I like to think of myself as a really good sniper. So when people beat me, I usually make it a point to get back at them, and usually that can be my downfall. So that's one thing I have to work on personally. And over-solicitude of his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. And so basically this is you being overly concerned with other people rather than yourself. And this means that you're not focusing on the overall plan, you're focusing on this individual person. Like if someone doesn't listen to your call out. These are the 5 besting sins of a general that ruinous to the conduct of war. When an army is overthrown and its leader slain, cause will surely be found among these 5 dangerous faults. Let them to be subject to meditation. So he says, if you're going to lose, this is how you're going to lose. So you need to focus on these 5 things and make sure you understand and recognize them when they're happening. So basically we learned that not any strategy is perfect, so you have to be able to change your strategy, and we learned 5 things that can generally debunk your strategy and cause you to shift from a good strategy. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good day and enjoyed the commentary. Comment, rate, and subscribe if you liked it, and just to show me support so I keep doing this series. I hope you guys have a great day. ODST, out.